Hey guys, Geoff Ulrich here with linemovement.com, bringing you another PGA betting preview this week for the week of the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Last week we saw Patrick Reed get her done at the Farmers Insurance Open, gutted out a gritty 5-shot victory. It was Reed's 9th win of his career. Obviously in some controversial situations, but this week we're headed to the desert for a brief stop before we head back out to the West Coast. And in this video, we will go over, course preview. We'll go over the favorites in the field, and then we'll get to my favorite part, the betting preview, guys I like for the week. So definitely stick around. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the course. It's going to be at TPC Scottsdale this week. This is a shorter but fun par 71. Plays around 7,200 to 7,300 yards. And this event, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, typically one of the funnest on tour, gets over 200,000 fans per day in a good year. This year, we're not going to have as many fans. It's only going to be about 5,000 per day because of the COVID situation. But so it'll be a very different atmosphere. The course is going to play the same though. It's like I said, it's a fun course. It's got a drivable par 4. It's got the stadium par 3 coming down the stretch. Lots of things can happen coming down the stretch at this event. There's 3 shorter par 5s. Most of the players can reach in 2 here. And this is an event too where players can hit a lot of drivers. So the average driving distance for this field is often typically very much higher than the tour average. So lots of drivers here. But the other thing to note, iron play's got to be good. These greens are a little bit bigger. There's tiers they got to hit. And the last 3 out of the last 4 winners here, have gained 7 strokes or more on their approaches here. So good long iron play, good mid iron play, but also guys who are strong off the tee here. Typically, we see them excel in one of those 2 categories, off the tee and approaches. Let's talk about some trends, though, as well, before we get into the bets, because there are a couple interesting trends here. And I think the most interesting one to take note of here is each of the last 5 winners here before they won had landed a top 5 at this event prior to that. So they'd been in contention. You go back to Hideki Matsuyama, he had a runner-up finish. Ricky Fowler lost in a playoff before grabbing his win in 2019. Webb Simpson, same deal, lost in a playoff here in 2017, won here in 2020. So guys who have won here typically had some really good experience around the course, either getting in contention or even just losing straight up in a playoff. So coming really close. So something to take note of. Experience does seem to be a factor with winners here. Let's talk about the field quickly. The top players. Who's here? The big guns. Jon Rahm's here. He's the event favorite. Plus 800. He's coming off a decent week at Tour. He had a little bit of back issues that forced him to withdraw from the Amex, but didn't seem to be a big deal. He's going to be in contention. He's always in contention. Justin Thomas coming in right behind him, plus 900. JT hasn't played since the Tournament of Champions. A little bit of off the course controversy, or on the course controversy, with just a comment he made, but he'll be back in action here. We'll see how it affects him. I'm not really that interested, to be honest, at this price. Xander Schauffele all the way down to plus 1,100. I just can't bet Xander Schauffele at this price. He's playing great, though. Another runner-up finish last week. Rory Mcilroy plus 1,200. I'm actually a little bit intrigued by Rory. I think if there was one of the favorites I was going on here, it would probably be taking a shot with him. It's his first time playing this event, though, but that hasn't stopped other people. Brooks Koepka won here on his first visit to the course here way back in 2015, I believe it was, too. Then you got Webb Simpson coming in at plus 1,500. The defending champion, like I said, he's got a terrific record in Phoenix. So that price for Webb Simpson actually doesn't look too bad. I think he actually went off shorter than this last year, or was around the favorites here last year. So plus 1,500 for Webb Simpson, sitting around the 5th favorite in the odds right now. Let's get to the bets, though. The guys I'm actually targeting this week. And definitely check out my article on linemovement.com. After you do this, I'll have betting updates, my final card, final bets, go over some top 20 and matchup plays as well. So check that out after. It's on linemovement.com. But for now, let's talk about the guys I'm targeting right off the bat. And the first guy I definitely want to talk about is Sungjae Im. Coming in at plus 3,000. Sungjae was in contention last week. He's kind of hovering around the top of the leaderboard. Midway through Sunday, had a really good round going at the Farmers Insurance on Sunday. Then he tailed off a little bit. He made a bogey and he kind of dropped out. But the irons have been firing pretty good for Sungjae at the start of the year. He's got a T7 at Waste Management Phoenix Open from a couple years back. He likes the Bermuda greens. That's typically been his best surface. And he gained over 5 strokes on his approaches at his first event at the Tournament of Champions. I think this is a really good venue for Sungjae Im long term. And I think this price, when you're looking at guys like Hideki, shorter in odds than him, I think you got to take this with Sungjae. So plus 3,000. I'm definitely starting cards with him this week. I'm also looking at Daniel Berger. I haven't quite committed there, but at plus 2,100, I think there's enough there for Daniel Berger to make the card. He's done really well at this event over his career as well. He's got a bunch of top 10s. He's putted really well on these greens too. He's gained over 17 strokes putting combined over his last 4 starts at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. He's been really consistent with his irons over the last 10 events. I like Daniel Berger at this price. I am going to look at Louis Eustazin again as well. I know he's a guy I bring up a lot and he never wins, but at plus 5,000, Louis was T3 here. It was the first time he played back in 2017. Almost got in that playoff with Webb Simpson that year. So I think Louis is coming off a pretty strong week at the Farmers Insurance Open. He definitely seems to like this venue. Coming in at pretty solid odds here at plus 5,000. I'm going to probably take a shot with him on an each way as well. I think you're getting enough juice there to take one more shot with him, given the fact that he played well last week. Let's move into a bit longer shots, longer odds though, to end things off, because there are some guys here around plus 8,000, plus 10,000 even, who I think have legit shots this week. We'll start with Brendan Steele. We saw Steele in contention at the Sony Open, but he's got a fantastic record in the desert as well, especially at this event. He's been top 10 numerous times over his career, was really firing with his irons at the Sony Open, and at plus 8,000, I think adding him for an each way, a top 5, and an outright bet makes a ton of sense here to see if we can get some continuation. Because like I said, firing with your irons, if he's firing with his driver, he's one of the best, most solid, consistent drivers of the golf ball, so we'll know he'll be okay in that category. But if he's firing with his irons into these greens, I think at those odds you're getting a pretty good deal on Brendan Steele. And then Byung-Hun An, plus 10,000, another guy I like to take at longer odds. He's got a fantastic record at this event though. Played here 4 times, made the cut each time. He was in contention way back in 2016, I believe it was. Finished T6 that year, T9 here last year. He's gained approaches. He's gained over 2 strokes on his approaches in all 4 of his appearances at this event. Definitely likes the venue, and he's playing pretty well. He was in contention at the American Express just a couple events back. So Byung-Hun An, plus 10,000. Yeah, I'll be taking some outright odds on that. I think those odds are a little bit too big. I wanted to mention a couple other players just before we go. Matt Wolfe at plus 5,000. I know that didn't work out for us very well last week, but these are massive odds for Matt Wolfe. He does have a bit of a hand injury, so it's something to monitor. I might be sprinkling a little bit of money on that. You're just not going to see those big odds on Matt Wolfe. If it's only a blister, if it's only just a small issue with the hand, I think you take those big odds and you sprinkle a little bit of money on him. I like this venue for him long term. He can smash the driver on most of these holes. If his approaches are working, he's going to be up there. So just something to think about with Matt Wolfe. Again, I haven't committed to him, but I wanted to bring him up. And then Doc Redman is going to be like a top 20 guy for me, maybe in each way. Plus 1,600. This guy is, or plus 16,000, excuse me, on the outright odds right now. This guy's trending very well with his irons over the last 50 rounds. He's top 10 in strokes gained approach. I think you'll see him bounce back quickly, and it wouldn't shock me if it was this week. So those are just way too big odds for a really solid young player who I think long-term can succeed at this venue. Look for him at in the top 20 odds too. You might get like a plus 600, maybe even a plus 700 in the top 20 market for Doc Redman this week. So let's wrap it up. I like Sunjay. I like Louis again, big shock. Brendan Steele, Byung-Hun An on the longer shots. Daniel Berger, probably a guy going to be making the card. And then I'm going to look at Matt Wolfe. I'm going to think about Doc Redman for a top 20 as well. So definitely check out my article on livemovement.com later in the week, guys. Like I said, it should be up Tuesday. I'll have my final thoughts, give more thoughts on the favorite, the course, stuff like that, betting trends. But for now, click that next video that comes up on your screen here and give this video a like. Smash a like for me if you could. And otherwise, have a great betting week. We'll talk to you again soon.